Welcome back to my channel. Thank you if you've subscribed, if you're watching. I appreciate your support and encouragement. This is my small little garden and my journey has just begun. I want to live a full sustainable life, but this is just the start. My first and second year of being in the garden, working in the soil, not just small containers. These are all going into the ground. I am so excited to see the adventures that come our way as a family and also just on my gardening journey. Thanks for watching. I am actually going to be replanting my herbs. So I have Genovese basil as well as sweet basil in that. And I have a small, I have an herbal garden thing, and it's a long container, but I think that would be fitting on the ledge closer to the kitchen, and then the others can grow in the garden itself. So I'm going to be filling up some of these containers, and I again am going to be doing a whole bunch of these, but now individually. Chives, marjoram though, which I didn't put in the other one. I'm going to do a small container of this. I've never tried it before. Sage. For soups, parsley. I'm going to put a little bit more dill because I haven't been getting any dill lately. And the oregano I'm going to try again because I haven't had success. These basils, I have so many of this. I actually have a second pack, so I'm going to be just kind of putting this in little corners in the garden itself. I got a little bit of a tan, y'all, because I've been out all day today, even with this hat. It's crazy. But it's okay because I feel happier now, right now, because it's been sunny. So my plants are outside, and I still haven't even found a use for this yet. Oh, guys, I need some suggestions. I also was able to enable the comments, so if you all have comments, I am happy to receive any suggestions that you guys have. And I'm going to keep going out here doing this gardening and putting these seeds in here. I actually have the plants out there. I took a couple pictures of what it's going to look like. Oh, pardon me with all this mess, guys. What it's going to look like, or I put the map of the plan. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I don't think it's going to be much different than the plan, but before the winter came, the way I had it was way different. I had a lot more eggplants because I thought I was going to have eggplants, and it turns out that I didn't have but one successful eggplant. So, and then I have another one. By the way, I'm using just a little bit of hay. This is one of my plants that actually did not survive the winter, so I'm going to soil. And I do have some seeding soil in the house, but I'm not going to open a bag just for these right now. Plus, it's kind of the season. They have a lot of nutrients actually in this soil, which is what I mixed with the soil from the ground, and also some fertilizing soil, along with some coconut coir, and with some hay, because that's what I sprinkled on top. So I know it's not, the best mix, but again, it worked for me to have some of my plants really growing. I mean, I already have some really good seedlings in my peppers. They started out in kind of hay-based. There's two, and those ones, and then the rest is going to be these smaller containers. I really honestly would have done that with the basil, but I know that I want a lot of basil this year. A lot of people like basil, so probably what I'm going to also do is put some. I already gave one a basil plant away, but that wasn't from one that I grew. It was one that I previously owned that I kept alive throughout the winter, and it went through a lot of transition of not having any leaves, and then to growing more leaves, and then growing extra leaves on the sides when I took the top part off, pinched it, right? Oh yeah, then I wanted to do this again. I was cutting these, thinking I was going to do this in this container,
but I'll do that in the bigger containers. Because I noticed actually when I did my nasturtium, when I first initially did my nasturtium, they were super successful, and I think the reason why is because they were in their own individual, I put one seed per, and it was like a cell, and somehow I put some dirt around it and kept it, moist, and it did really well in that container. It didn't do good when I put it in the container when there were more than one nasturtiums in the one container. It didn't do so great. But when they were in their individual cells and there was dirt between them, all of them pretty much survived. So I'm going to also do that with some of these plants. I got to cut these rolls. And then I look at it like the roots are going to actually come out the bottom, right? I did this earlier this year, right? So I cut these in half, and then I cut that in half. So I got usually a fourth of a tube. And the regular, the regular toilet tissue, this is the paper towel one. The regular toilet tissue one is just about this much. So I'm actually going to leave it this long because it allows the roots to grow a little bit more. And I almost forgot. It's been a while since I've done this. Right? And I'm going to do the opposite. About an inch actually. Right? Then you're going to do halfway. Fold in just like a crescent, fold in, and then I'm going to put soil in here. Actually, I'm going to use a small little shovel. I think last time when I tried to do this, it didn't exactly work. Now you're holding the bottom one, right, because you don't want this open. And then as you get a little bit further down, further up on the tube, just to make sure that you have enough soil in here, you're going to push it down. So see, actually it was almost filled, and then I push down, and it's like halfway down. So, these plants, their roots are going to need some extra soil. And those little individual cells, these cells are not really sufficient enough, I think. So I think I've been having more success with having the strawberry containers and stuff like that. The only bad thing about it is that I won't be able to close it. That'll be the only bad thing. Yeah, and I do want to close it to keep it more functions. It's not necessarily that I did it this way last time. I think I actually might have cut them in thirds then. I might have. Instead of cutting them in halves, I might have. Because it seems like I'm not having success. Did I have before? Okay, that might. Yeah, that'll. Once it gets wet, it'll squish down just a little bit more. I don't want these basil seeds to fall out anywhere. So I have a few more to do. I'm exhausted, and I'm putting my gloves back on because I have to finish digging around the edges of the garden. And the reason being, it's not that I don't want the wildflowers. I do want the wildflowers. But the people who mowed the lawn, two reasons actually why. So one, the birds started eating my wildflowers. They eat the wildflower seeds, right? So then I had a few grow. And then the second reason is because as soon as the people came to mow the lawn, they mowed the lawn, which was fine, but then they went into my garden space because I didn't have chicken wire around it like I do now, half of it anyway. And they cut down the grass, they cut down the little bit of wildflowers that I had, but then they also cut down my scallions. So then I kind of got a little motivated at that moment to put the chicken wire around it, because the only reason why I didn't do that yet is because I hadn't finished weeding. I hadn't finished evening the soil because there were like lumps and stuff like that. So I didn't put it off necessarily, not like I wasn't going to do it, but that just gave me an extra motivation to put the gate up, because anything past that point is the garden, and it's not the lawn. So when they went into the garden to cut the grass that was growing, they didn't know that I was literally wanting it to grow because the wildflowers were growing. So now the wildflowers are all gone. I only had a few of them anyway, like 2 or 3. So, it wasn't a lot, but they cut my scallions, which is my vegetable. And I guess they were just doing their job, but now I have a gate all the way around, so they shouldn't even be going into the garden at all. They shouldn't be touching it. Even if they see a piece of grass growing as tall as a tree, it's off limits because it's behind my gate now, So hopefully they won't even take the initiative to walk through it either and move my stuff. I got 2 little pieces of door blocking it. I got a chair blocking it. I got the fence blocking it. I got a long stick with a nail. No, seriously, I do actually. But yeah, if they touch my stuff, they'll get hit by a door. All right, they're doors. They're heavy doors, cut in half from the closet upstairs in the bathroom when they did the renovations, and those little slats I used as a little fence. Oh my goodness! And I just put the little seeds of scallions along that little wooden gate, protecting the scallion that I have now. I only have 2 scallions left. Out of those scallions, I want to put some garlic in the ground, and that because scallions kind of like drape all over the place, I'm not going to put them in the middle where I walk all the time. I'm going to put them right there against that gate and kind of just like put a string to support them and hold them, but that's a protected area for them now. And I have the blueberries right across from the scallions, so it's going to be very colorful, I hope. Right now I see white, purple, and yellow, only because I have the yellow and the purple pansies and the white flowers from the blueberry, and I've been seeing white flowers pretty much all spring, except for like the spring pink. I call it spring pink because it wasn't really hot pink. That was on the flower on the weeping willow tree. And then the tulips, they were hot pink for like 2 weeks, and then they went to like really, really pale pink, and then they went to like whitish pink, and then it was it. They were done. So for a month, they were very pretty, very, very pretty. The dandelions were the first ones to pop.
What am I saying? Dandelions. They were daffodils.
Like
Daffodils, y'all.
They were looking like little cones. I don't know what they were. But they were cute. Got the pollinators familiar with the area again. They were started like buzzing by, and because I put the plants in the places where they're kind of going to be in the garden, or at least near, the bumblebees just like, going through the garden, seeing where's the next flower coming in. They're not there yet, buddy, but at least hopefully it pollinated the blueberry. And if they were already pollinated, it's fine because there's going to be new flowers coming. And I'm watering it already. I've been actually watering the dirt with the cardboard for, I want to say like maybe the last 2 weeks. Yeah, every single time I water the apple tree, I water the soil. So no, there wasn't any growth in there other than the scallions, but there was no plants in there at all. And now, I have the sunflowers and stuff like that, but I was watering the soil, just watering it, and making sure I had like the hay in the corners, weeding it. And so now, along the other side, there's more weeds. So I did clean up the one side, and now I got to do the other side. I'm trying to do the pathway of the entrance, and I'm skimming down the soil slightly to make that a little bit more even, because it was like 1 step's here and 1 step's here. So I'm going to even that out so that it's step to step. And I'm putting that extra soil in the cinder blocks, because the cinder blocks before were like this. So the weeds would just go straight through and they would go right into my garden. And that was last year because I thought I don't know, I guess it was a flat surface on the top. That's what it was. So my son used to walk around, so that's kind of how I left them. So there were holes in the bottom of the cinder block. So now this year, I said, Joshua, you can't walk on the blocks. For a while he did, but then when I turned them, now the holes are on the top, but it's a flat surface. So the weeds, even if they're, throwing the grass clippings and stuff like that, it's not going to go into my garden because I have 2 cement blocks like this, right? Or in one spot, there's 1 cement block, but it's not close to the grass. The sides that are closest to grass have 2 cement blocks. So now in those holes, I put that soil when I even it out. It's big and fluffy, right? So I take some of that and I put that in the holes. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to have like little own individual planters, maybe for sunflowers, lavender, and stuff like that. So I have technically the ground, right? Which I thought I was only going to have like this little small square space, and then another little square space. And around it, I was putting a gate, and then I was having the weeds, but I was treading on it last year. This year, I'm taking out all the weeds, and that way I'll have more surface ground, and also because I turned the cinder blocks this way. So I have at least place for close to 60 plants in the garden. And I'm not talking about 60 different kinds, which would be really awesome, but I'm talking about 60 plants. So I'm going to end up putting like 8 to 10 pepper plants, which get big, but I'm going to put 4 here, 4 there, and then I'm going to put actually as many as I can on this side. So if I can fit 2 to 4, that's going to be great, right here along the garage. Now on this side where I'm going to try to see if I can show pictures of, I don't know how to clip the pictures over, but I have like a little small strawberry patch. So I know that strawberries like hay, and we have hay. So I weeded that as much. I took up all the grass as much as possible, and then I made a pile on this side of the garage door. So here's going to be the peppers, and here's the strawberry patch. So I have these stairs, and I have all the plants sitting on there. And I have my little makeshift greenhouse, and the plants that were in there were doing really good. And the ones that were on top that were like exposed to the cold air, they kind of died out. So I brought them in. And then the daylily she's back to life. Okay, so I'm really happy that there's 2 of them that have a flower. And then also, I took out all the grass and I put it in one pile. So this was like the ground, right? It kind of curves up, but it's strange because the hill is this way. So it ended up going like this, right? And I took up all the grass from here first, and I stacked it on top of itself, and I turned it over so that the roots were facing up. And there were like a few red wigglers and a few, I had the name Whirly Pearlies or something like that, the little ones, the curlers. And there was a Cynthia, which was like centipede. And there's a few of these reddish, I don't know, I think they're wasps or something, but I found 3 of them. To be honest, wasps are kind of dangerous because I've never been stung by one, but they're kind of dangerous because they can sting. They're more aggressive than bumblebees. But because they have always found our backyard to be hospitable to them, I'm not going to stop them from producing. Okay, so when I found her, I picked her up, and I was like, I know it's not a rock, I know it's a bug. I picked it up, and she goes, I was okay, let me put you back in the soil, go back to sleep, and then I put some hay underneath, and so I have a few strawberry strawberry plants scattered, maybe about 10, and I'm like super excited about that. And then, because I'm not going to move any of those strawberry plants, they are doing fine where they are. So that's just another part of the grass and the ground that I can use for producing vegetation. And then I was thinking of maybe putting some carrots in the ground, just because there's like a little bit of a... So this is the little strawberry patch. and it's underneath. Then there's the tomatoes and the peppers. I also started putting the beans in the ground. Those are the nasturtium. I see a couple of pepper plants, the nasturtium, and some carrots coming in, some marigolds, a whole bunch of variety of plants, the pansies. And this might be my favorite project part. I had to dig up the weeds and flatten it out and put sunflowers and nasturtium in the ground. So now, entrance to the backyard again. There's now a water feature, bird bath, and bird feeder. The peonies are about to come up. These are all the pansies in the stackable. And this is my daylily. I'm going to be taking it inside. It is not liked out here. See, it has a lot of dry leaves that I've taken off, but I'm just going to try to keep her warm. And this is a container from Lowe's compost pile. Here we go. And that is going over there next to the tree. In previous times, I actually added just bananas here, a whole bunch of bananas. This whole entire layer was covered with cardboard like for about 2 months. The soil was nice and beautiful and thick and it was pretty compact. So I did put some in here, but now I'm going to put this whole bucket in there. Real quick, before I start doing that, I'll show you how my plants are doing. I divided my peppers into individual containers so they can grow individually. I can give them away as gifts. There goes my pea shoots or green beans. That's what they are. And then those are the tomatoes down there individually. My sunflowers, more peppers, my carrots, more peppers, my impatiences. And then this is something new that I just was able to do 2 days ago before it rained. These are still my marigolds growing in there, but now I put 2 marigolds in the ground. Then I put miniature sunflowers there. I have miniature sunflowers in the middle one here. I have some pansies here. I have nasturtium there, and then I have nasturtium in the ground to see how that turns out. And then all the way in the far right, that is my cilantro. And so this is coming along here. Having a lot of comments still about the cardboard. It doesn't matter. It's going to be good for the plants. So I just made this trellis yesterday with the help of a young friend. And so I have 3 sides in here. And the reason why I have 3 sides is because I'm going to have the cucumbers growing up here. I don't know how heavy they're going to be. And then this just makes it easier for me to just grab them when they start growing. So that's that. And then this hasn't been drilled yet. But I just finally did this. So I think I'm going to try to see if I can get some sort of bean or pea to grow up that. And I also did this the other day. This is actually maybe about 4 or 5 days old. And at first I only made it with the bamboo and with the apple tree. Had it laying on the ground and everything. I'm making a pathway. I'm going to be stumbling all over the place. But then it was strong enough to last through the storm. But I didn't think it would be strong enough to but I don't know if they're probably gonna, they might top, so maybe I'll leave the carrots for the other section, and I'll just let the strawberries have that whole entire section. I think that's what I'll do. I'll just leave that for strawberries. And what else? I'm kind of thirsty, so I'm actually gonna take a sip of my juice. I started drinking these. It's kind of crazy. I know they're for my son, but I love them. And me and my grandma actually been drinking them. The other one that has pineapple is really tasty, and I actually have that one, a brand new one, maybe like a sip taken from it, over there near the garden. I have this one in here, so it's kind of funny because I had it in my pocket and I was like, oh, it's cold, and I put it out there. And I always do that. I always end up having like 2 or 3 drinks along the way. And I wish I could recycle these, guys. I look at things and I can't. Oops, didn't make it. Let's try again. You can see how I do. Oh! I have I have the basil, I have the oregano, the seeds that I just put in the soil, and that so there's several reasons why I did that, and I think if they grow, I can separate them, and then I can put them in their own little, like, encapsulated area. The basil can grow next to each other, but they're in the same area, you know. Anyway, if they intermingle, then that's fine too. And then I have the other ones, which the one lady, she said that, well, because they're basil, I can have them next to each other and I won't mind. But I don't necessarily want all my other herbs to cross into the other herbs, because there are some herbs I'm going to use more than the other, and then they're going to get overwhelming, like the basil, and or they may be like jangly, like, you know, really cute, and then they get lost. So I want to have their own little section. And so I'm thinking of, instead of having the herbal garden in the one area, I know I have it in the container, but instead of having all the herbs in the ground at the same spot, I think I'm going to put like 2 here, and then I'll put one on the other side, and then one over here. So I think I might scatter, basically, throughout the garden. And I have marigolds in there. Oh my gosh, the marigolds are truly. I am so excited. I can't wait till I don't even want to take them out of the container. I don't want to separate. I don't want to take no chances of them dying at all. I want to see them pop up. And I already smell the leaves. They smell so good. I remember a long time ago when I had them in a container, and you could smell them throughout the whole entire yard. And it wasn't even last year, actually. It was when I had containers. But and that was only 2 plants, and they're like this big. And I know that now that I'm growing close to 50, I mean, this is not even a joke, guys. I had not only a packet like this, but I had a small packet, and I had 2 of the small packets. So I had 30 of one kind, and then I had the other one that had like 45, but I didn't use all of them. I only used like 20. But I put them here, and then I put the whole 30 on this side. And no, I didn't. I think I put 20 on that side too. So I have 40. So 20 here and 20 here. You know, like, I tried to count them as much as possible. I'm sure it's like 24 and 23 or something, 19, you know. So don't take that word seriously, like a specific number for me. But I go like this, and then I put the soil over top, and then I kept them together. And it's like I took the whole entire suggestion of that man, and they're growing, y'all. So I don't want to cry. I'm just realizing that, like, from somebody who did not know how to start anything from seed, even the old-fashioned avocado. Brussels sprout, girl, I love it. My mom had it. I would lose my, I don't know, I think I would lose my physical strength, and, I don't know, I guess it's not something, I love protein, actually. I do love protein. I like the way it makes me feel. I love the energy it gives me. But I miss the clarity of only having vegetables. I could breathe better. I guess it's the chlorophyll, right? I like, I'm gonna grow wheatgrass for the cats and also for myself, because whenever I would go to Reading Terminal, I'd always see my buddy Adam, and he will get me my shot of wheatgrass. I mean, I'll just buy it from the place, but Adam knows. He's like, "You getting your shot today?" I'm like, "Yes, I am." And I think it's like $3 or something like that. It might have increased by $1, but it's this small, and it's a batch of wheatgrass, and it clears out my sinuses, and it literally, like, it's like a wake-up call, and there's no caffeine, nothing. It's just pure green, purity, beautiful deliciousness. So that was the goal, to grow it. And I was going to do the microgreens, set up and get that whole entire tray. And I'm like, no, I don't have a heat lamp. I can't afford that. And so I'm just going to grow it the old-fashioned way in the sun. And if it grows, it grows. If the birds eat it, I'm going to sock them. So I'm gonna try to see if I can grow them inside first, as you should anyway, right? That's what we're all supposed to be doing. Starting our seeds, and my mom actually, I believe we have a few parsleys coming in, but they're all like really thin, and they're not happy. So I think I might have to do another container separate of parsley, and just see how it shows up. Because in all honesty, even if it doesn't work in the container, I still want to have the plant in the garden. So, that's just how I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to do. I'm a little tired, and I just repeated myself twice. So, I said I wasn't going to put anything in the ground today, but I did. And I am a little tired. So I think I'm going to call it a day. And tomorrow I'm going to put up the other part of the chicken wire. And I'd like to all over there. It's a mess, y'all. It's a mess. And some of these boxes need to be broken down already. Because they're empty. And they're just sitting there like... There's nothing in them. Let me use it for my garden. I might take the boxes. Don't tell my mom. I will see y'all later. It's starting to get sunny again. Those birds are something else. They're really pretty. Guys, I wish you guys could see this. And actually, I tried to zoom in earlier. Let me see if it works. Because before... Oh my god. Oh, there they are. You can hardly even see them. There's at least 30, y'all. Anyway. I'm actually tired of lifting that, so I'm just going to put the plants in the ground. But I wasn't going to do it. I'm going to do it. Starting already with the sunflower tonight. I'm going to put my 2 bean pods in. I've done so far for the path. It's okay, I did 2.